Hi everyone, today I want to talk about the journey to real leadership. I want you to think about a leader you truly admire. Maybe someone from your workplace, a mentor, or even a historical figure. Now, ask yourself, what made them a great leader? Was it their knowledge, their authority, or was it something deeper, something intangible that inspired people to follow them? When I started my leadership journey, I thought leadership was all about authority. I believed my role was to take charge, to make decisions, and to ensure that everything ran smoothly. And honestly, I liked being the one in control. But there was also this voice in the back of my mind that whispered, are you really leading or are you just managing? It wasn't until I experienced real challenges, moments of failure, frustration and growth, that I began to understand this question. That I began to understand what leadership is truly about. It's not about you, me, it's about the people you serve, that we serve. It's about creating trust, inspiring vision, and leading with empathy. Today I want to take you on a journey through the moment that shaped my understanding of leadership. For me, these aren't just lessons, they are stories of mistakes, breakthrough, and the realization that leadership is far more about the people around you than the title you hold. Whether you are leading a team, a department, building a business, or simply trying to lead your own life with purpose, my hope is that these stories will resonate with you and help you see leadership in a new light, leadership that it is. So, let's dive in. First of all, leadership isn't about you, it's about them. When I was given my first leadership role, I thought I was prepared. I had a plan, a vision, and a team ready to execute. I told myself this is my chance to prove that I can lead. It was the first chance that the life had given to me. So I dove in head first. I assigned tasks, set deadlines, and made sure everyone knew exactly what they needed to do. I was organized, efficient, and on top of everything, or so I thought. But as the weeks went by, I started noticing something. The team was getting the work done, but there was no energy, no enthusiasm. Meetings were quiet. People weren't sharing ideas or taking initiative. It was like they were just going through the motion. One day, after a particularly tense meeting, I asked some of my team members to stay behind. I said to them, I feel like something not right. Can you tell me what's going on? What they said completely changed the way I see leadership forever. They said, Victor, it feels like this isn't our project. It feels like it's just yours. That answers hit me like a ton of bricks. I realized that I had made the mistake of thinking leadership was about me, about my vision, my plan, my goal. But real leadership isn't about you and me. It's about them. When people feel like they are just executing orders, they're disengaged. But when they feel ownership, when they believe their contribution truly matters, they bring their best self in it. So I changed my approach. Instead of dictating the plan, I started asking for input. I said, what do you think? How can we make this better? And the response was incredible. Suddenly, the team was alive with ideas and energy. People were taking initiative, solving problems, and collaborating in ways I hadn't seen before. Here's what I learned from that experience. If you want people to bring their best, you have to make them feel like they're part of something. Start by asking for their input. Invite them into your process. Let them take ownership. Try this. At your next meeting, call, instead of presenting a full form plan, bring an outline and say, This is what I'm taking, but I love your input. You'll be amazed at the ideas and energy that come from involving others. But creating that sense of ownership requires something even deeper, something that is fundamental in leadership, and that's trust. Trust is the foundation. Trust is one of those things that easy to take for granted till it's gone. And I learned that lesson the hard way. And I hope with these videos you will learn in easy way. I was leading a team where one or couple of members were struggling. They were missing deadline and their work quality was slipping. My first reaction was frustration. I thought, why can't they just get it together? So I stopped micromanaging. I checked constantly, I double checked their work, and I make sure that they knew I was watching. But the more I hovered, the worse things got in the team. They become more withdrawn, more hesitant and less confident. Finally, when nothing else works, I sat down with them and said, okay, let's talk. What's going on? You know what they said? They told me, what they told me was an eye-opening. They said, we feel like you don't trust us. It's like no matter what we do, you're waiting for us to fail. That was tough. I want to swear, but that was a tough pill to swallow. I realized that my lack of trust wasn't just hurting the team, it was hurting all departments. So I decided to change my approach. Instead of micromanaging, I said a simple thing. I trust you. I believe in your ability to handle this. Let's figure out together how I can support you. The transformation was incredible. They started taking ownership of their work, meeting deadlines, and even going above and beyond what was expected. Here's the thing about trust. Not just about believing in someone's ability, it's about showing them that you believe in their potential. And trust isn't built through grand gestures. It's built through small, consistent action over time. That is how trust is built. If you want to build trust as a leader, I recommend these 3 things to do. 1. Be reliable. Do what you say you'll do, even with small commitments. 2. Show vulnerability. Admit when you are wrong or when you don't have all the answers. And 3. Empower your team. Give them the freedom to make decisions and learn from their mistakes. This is the most important 3 things you must do. Trust lays the groundwork for everything else in the leadership. But to truly inspire people, trust needs to be paired with something else, even more powerful. You know what it is? Vision. Every great leader I ever admire or read has had one thing in common. They knew how to paint a picture of the future. They knew how to inspire people to see not just what they were doing, but why it mattered. I remember leading a project that felt like it was on the verge of collapse. Deadlines were slipping, resources were tight, and the team was losing motivation. Every meeting was filled with tension, and people were just trying to survive the day. I bet you all have that feeling. One day, I decided to change the conversation. I called the team together and said, let's forget about the deadline for a moment. Why are we doing this? What's the bigger impact we're trying to create? You know what was the first reaction of them? Hesitation. People weren't used to stepping back and looking at the bigger picture. But slowly, they started sharing. Someone said, we're doing this to solve a problem our clients have been struggling. Other person added, and if we get this right, it could set a new standard in our industry. That conversation reignited something in the team. Suddenly, we weren't just working on a project, we were working toward a purpose. And that purpose gave us the energy and focus we needed to push through the challenges. Vision isn't just about setting goals. It's about creating sense of purpose. It's about connecting people to something bigger than themselves. When people understand the why behind their work, they're more motivated, more engaged, and more willing to go the extra mile. Don't forget that. If you want to inspire your team with a vision, here is the most important thing that you can do. 1. Start with the why. Why does this work matter? Who does it impact? What problems are you solving? 2. Make it tangible. Don't just talk about abstract concepts. Paint a vivid picture of what success looks like and what we'll achieve. 3. Involve your team. A vision shouldn't just come from the leader. Ask your team what excites them about the work and incorporate their perspective into the vision. And 4. Keep it alive. Vision isn't a one-time speech. It's a conversation you need to revisit regularly, especially when things get tough. But here's the thing, even the most compelling vision will fall flat if it's not grounded in empathy. That brings me to the next lesson that I learned. Empathy is what makes leadership human. With what makes humans human is the ability to step into someone else's shoes and see the world through their eyes. I'll be honest with you, this wasn't something that came natural to me. Early in my career, I was so focused on results, I often overlooked the personal struggle of my team. And if I remember, there was one instance that really drove this home for me. I was managing some members who had been one of the top performers on the department, but suddenly their work started slipping. They were missing deadline and their energy seemed off. My initial reaction then was to push them harder. I thought, they're just distracted. I need to remind them how important this is. So I scheduled a meeting to discuss their performance, fully prepared to give them a motivational pep talk, like on your tubes that you see today. But before I could say much, they opened up. They told me they were dealing with a family crisis and that it was taking everything they had just to show up at work. I was stunned. It's been so focused on their performance that I hadn't even thought to ask how they were doing. That moment was a turning point for me. I realized that leadership isn't just about driving results, it's about caring for the people who deliver those results. It's about creating an environment where people feel safe, supported and understood. From that day on, I started leading with empathy. I made it a point to check it with my team, not just about their work, but about their well-being. I learned to ask the question like, what's been challenging for you lately? Or how can I support you? And you know what? It made all the difference in the world. When people feel seen and valued, they show up differently. They are more engaged, more creative, and more willing to go to the extra mile. Don't forget that. If you want to lead with empathy, you have to start with this. 1. Ask better questions. Instead of just saying how it's work, ask what's being challenging for you, or what's something you're proud of right now. Listening without judgment. Sometimes people don't need solution. They just need to feel heard. And 3, be present. When someone is sharing something important, put down your phone, close your laptop, and give them your full attention. Empathy isn't just a nice to have in leadership. It's essential. It's what turns a group of individuals into a team. And that brings us to the bigger picture, the legacy of leadership. Leadership isn't just about the here and now. It's about the legacy you leave behind. It's about the impact you have on the people you lead. The culture you create in your department, in your business, and the value you pass on. Think about leaders who shape your life. I don't know, maybe it was a teacher who saw potential in you when no one else did. Maybe it was your ex-boss who gave you an opportunity when you didn't feel ready. Or maybe it was someone who simply listened when you needed it most. Now ask yourself, what did they leave behind in you? Was it confidence, inspiration, a belief in your ability to do more than you thought possible? That's the power of leadership. Not about the task you completed or the goals you achieved. It's about the life you touched and ripple effect that followed. Let me share something that I come to realize now. The true measure of leader isn't found in metrics or milestone. It's found in stories people tell about you. Get ready? When you're not in the room. Will they say they were the smartest person in the room? Or will they say, they made me feel like I matter. They helped me see what I was capable of. As a leader, your job isn't to have all the answers. Your job is to create an environment where others can thrive. It's to build trust so that people feel safe taking risks. It's to inspire a vision that's bigger than any one person. And it's to lead with empathy so that every individual feels seen, valued, and empowered. But here's the thing. Leadership doesn't stop at the workplace. It extends to every part of your life. It's how you treat your family, your friends, and even the strangers you meet daily. Every interaction is an opportunity to lead, to make someone feel valued, to inspire them, to leave them better than you found them. Let me tell you about leaders who left a legacy that still inspire me today. They weren't famous, they weren't a CEO, they were mentors I worked with early in my career. Every time I talked with them, they made me feel like I was the most important person in the room. They asked questions not to check a box, but because they genuinely care about my growth. When I doubted myself, they reminded me of my strengths. And when I succeeded, you know what they did? They celebrate my victories as if they were their own. Even now, years later, I still think about their influence. Not because of what they achieved, but because of how they made me feel. That's leadership. It's the ability to leave an imprint that lasts far beyond the moment. So here's my challenge for you. What kind of legacy do you want to leave? In your family, in your business? What stories will people tell about the way you made them feel? The way you inspire them? The way you lead them? Think about that. Leadership isn't about perfection. It's about intention. It's about showing up even when it's hard. It's about being brave enough to admit when you're wrong, strong enough to lift others up, and wise enough to know that leadership isn't about you and me. It's about them. You have the power to make a difference, not just in task or you have to complete, but in lives you touch. So go out and lead with purpose, build trust, inspire vision, lead with empathy, and leave a legacy that matters. Because right now, in this moment, the world doesn't just need more managers. It needs more leaders like you. Thank you for being part of this journey today. If this message resonates with you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Let's create a world filled with leaders who lift others up, who lead with their hearts, and who leave every place better than they found it. Leadership isn't just something you do, it's who you choose to be.